teacher. So the title of my paper is Engaging the Open and Distance Learners via Online Community to Increase Commitment. So mine is more on using learning management system for the purpose of retaining students, especially open and distance learners. Alright? So this is the overview of my presentation. Okay? Okay, first of all, let me just start off with retention. So the opposite of retention is basically the attrition. Attrition is a widely researched topic. Started since William Sperry in 1970 and then made popular by Vincent Tinto and Baines and Messner and so on. So the attrition research was actually based on the suicidal theory by M.L. Durkheim, which is based on egoistical death, where people commit suicide because they are not integrated to the society. Yeah. So Tinto has come up with a conclusion that the cause of attrition is the lack of academic and social integration. So students in the traditional colleges, they cannot integrate. Right? They are not assimilated to the system. They cannot adapt to the system, whether economically or their academics and so on, so they drop out from the program. But later on, 15 years later, people like Parlov and Pratt, Reisman, and then we have Rowai, they do a study on online or distance learners, rather than traditional learners. And they found that these students, they actually have feelings of isolation. They are isolated. They stay away from the college. They are not integrated in the system. So they feel a sense of loneliness. Therefore, they drop out of the program. So the feelings of isolation and engagement actually is a continuum, the two ends of a continuum, where if they are very integrated, therefore they are engaged to the system. If they are not integrated, then they are isolated from the system. So I'm going to talk about how to use technology, especially learning management system, to engage the learners. Alright? So basically these are the tools that I think we are using today. For example, the learning management system developed by Open University Malaysia, which is the MyVLE. We call it MyVLE, stands for My Virtual Learning Environment. Then we have other social media, for example, Flickr, Twitter, blogs, Facebook, and so on. Right? Okay, so my objective of this research is based on my conceptual model, whereby there are 4 variables which are used to measure the intensity of the online community developed in the learning management system. So the 4 variables actually were proposed by Moore. There is the learner-learner, learner-instructor or learner-tutor. Then we have the learner content. Then another researcher called Jiang has introduced another one called learner-staff. Yeah? So learner-staff, because the interaction between learners, if they have administrative problems, the way the staff handle the students is very important. If the staff mismanage or mishandle the learners will also feel isolated and drop out from the program. Yeah? Before that, so I'm going to look at these 4 variables, how this will impact on engagement. And engagement, I have hypothesized as to the fact to have an impact on commitment to stay, where these 3 other variables, the sense of community, satisfaction and intrinsic motivation, are the mediating factors actually. Yeah? Okay, these are some of the interventions I want to share with all of you from Open University Malaysia. So we use MyVLE as the tool to engage learners. But the first thing is, in order to do that, we must have a very good infrastructure. Not only good, but it must be fully supported by the management. Yeah? Number 2, once we have the tool, then we must try to use it. So one way is to practice what we call collaborative online learning. So we do collaboration in the online discussion forum. We have a pre-tutorial workshop in Open University Malaysia. Every new student, before they start their first semester, we will conduct a pre-tutorial workshop to teach them how to use this tool. Otherwise, they will be at a loss. Then we also have separate tutors. Yeah, in class we have a tutor face-to-face. We have another tutor who are specialized in engaging the learners through online. Yeah, we also provide digital library, one of the best digital library, to help students to engage with the contents. Yeah. Then every semester, our tutors are actually trained again and retrained. before the start of the semester, we need to remind tutors to fully engage with the students. And then we provide e-counseling for students who are weak, especially at risk, whose CGPA is below 2.0, so they are at risk. We also provide iLecture, iReview. Yeah? You can go online and view some of the lecture. Yeah, we have online, live radio lecture and so on. And then eCRM stands for e-customer relationship management, which is a tool we use for students to channel their complaint, so that we don't want them to feel isolated when they have problems. Yeah? And lately we have started the use of social media. Okay, next, these are the methodology I've used for my research. Basically, I use an instrument which is a 63-item survey instrument. I administered on 1,500 learners throughout Malaysia. So these are students from different cohorts, year 1, year 2 until final year. Yeah? And the purpose is to measure actually there are 4 plus 3 plus 2, 3 mediating factors, engagement and then commitment to stay, and the 4 other variables. Yeah? So my intention is to find a correlation among these variables. Then after that, I would like to find out whether there's an impact